The Mayan calendar has foretold many great events, but even it could not predict the struggle to settle and control their homeland. Welcome to Mexica! Mexica is an area control game for 2 to 4 players from Iello Games. Players will take on the roles of tribe leaders working to secure the most landmass and erect temples. Will you be able to build monuments that withstand the test of time? Or will your civilization be left in rubble? Let's find out in Mexica! Place the game board in the middle of the table. Shuffle the 15 pulley or district tokens face down. Place 8 face up at random on their corresponding spot on the game board. Arrange these in ascending order according to the yellow number at the top of the tokens. Set the other 7 tokens face down to the side. These will be used during the second period of the game. Place canal tiles near the board and place 2 two-spaced canal tiles on their indicated spots on the board. Place the bridges near the board and place the action point tokens near the board. Give each player a player aid card. Side A tells you the number of districts and temples available to you at the start of each period. Side B tells you the available actions and their cost and action points. Each player chooses a color and takes a corresponding prestige point marker, pulley, Mexica, and temples. Place the prestige point marker on the 0 space on the prestige track. Set the 9 temples available to you during the first period as indicated by your player aid in front of you. Turn your player aid to side B. Starting with the oldest player and continuing clockwise around the table, each player places their pulley Mexica on one of the 4 starting spaces located here on the board. Now you are ready to play. The game is played over 2 periods, and each period has a varying number of rounds. On your turn, you will have 6 action points to spend. You are not required to spend all 6, however, any action points that are not used will go to waste. There are 7 different actions you can take on your turn. Construct a canal, found a district, construct or relocate a bridge, build a temple, move, take an action point token, and spend an action point token. All of these are listed on side B of your player aid. You can construct a canal by spending an action point. Canals are used to divide the land into smaller districts. These districts can be made smaller and smaller until someone lays a pulley token on it. Once it has been founded, it can no longer be reduced. To close off a district, the canals must at least be touching diagonally. You can place a canal wherever you wish as long as it is one of the empty land spaces. You cannot place them on one of the 5 palace spaces, on another canal tile, on the lake, on a space holding up a bridge, or in a district that has already been founded. Founding a district does not cost you an action point, however there are 2 conditions that must be met. Your pulley Mexica must be on one of the spaces in the district, and a matching pulley token must be available. The large number at the top of the tile tells you how many spaces must be enclosed to place it. The number at the bottom left is the number of points you will get, and any other pulley Mexica present will gain the number of points located in the bottom right when the token is placed. If you want to construct or relocate a bridge, pay 1 action point. A bridge can only be placed on a canal and it must be touching land on either side. You cannot connect 2 bridges to create one long bridge. However, you can place 2 bridges side by side. Bridges can be blocked by buildings, pulley tokens, or pulley Mexica pawns. Some of these will permanently block access to the bridge. The number of action points required to build a temple depends on which temple you're building. The number of action points required corresponds with the number of levels. For example, a single level temple would require 1 action point, while a 4-level temple would require 4 action points. This is also indicated by the engravings on the roof. Temples can be built on any empty land space. However, unlike bridges, once a temple has been built, it cannot be demolished or upgraded. You can move your pulley Mexica on foot for 1 action point per adjacent space traveled. If your pulley Mexica is on a bridge, you can move from one bridge to another by boat if you can trace an uninterrupted line of canal. This will cost you 1 action point. You can move to any empty space or bridge on the board by spending 5 action points to use the teleport action. You can take an action point token for 1 action point or 2 for 2 action points. If there are no tokens left, you cannot take this action until 1 has been returned to the supply. In subsequent turns, you can use these tokens to spend extra action points. Turns continue until the following 2 conditions are met. The 8 pulley tokens on the Emperor's commands have been used and at least one player has placed all of their temples. When this happens, finish the round and move on to scoring. When the first period ends, each district that was founded will grant prestige points. Add up your spiritual grandeur in the district by adding up the number of levels in your temples. For example, in this district I have 2 level 1 temples and 1 level 3 temple, giving me a total of 5 spiritual grandeur. If you have the most spiritual grandeur in a district, score the number of points in yellow. If you have the second grandest, score the number of points in blue. And if you have the third grandest, score the number of points in white. If there is a tie, the tied players will share the place they tied for. If 2 people tie for first, no one will get second, but someone can get third. If 3 people tie for first, no one will score for second or third place. Finally, if players tie for second, no one will score for third. If your pulley Mexica is on one of the 4 starting spaces, you will score an additional 5 points. Otherwise, the location does not matter. Once you have scored the first period, it's time to set up for the second period. Grab the other 9 temples that you set aside at the beginning of the game and reveal the 7 remaining pulley tokens. If all players can agree that an available pulley token cannot be used, then remove it from the game. The second period is played exactly like the first period. The second period ends when the 7 pulley tokens have been used or have become impossible to use and have been removed from the game, and at least one person has placed all of their temples. When this happens, finish the round and move on to scoring. Scoring for spiritual grandeur for the second period is the same as the first. Score all the founded districts, including the ones scored for the first period. For the second period, you also score districts that have not been founded. If you have the highest grandeur in the unfounded district, score the number of points equal to the number of spaces in the district. If you have the second highest, score the number of points equal to half of the number of spaces, rounded up. If you have the third highest, you score half of the points awarded for second place, rounded up. Fourth place will not score. Just like before, if your pulley Mexica is on one of the 4 opening spaces, gain an extra 5 points. The player with the most points wins. If there is a tie, the player with the most action point tokens remaining will win. If there is still a tie, players will share the victory. And that's Mexica. You can watch us play this and many other board games live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/boardgamehouse.